Hello everyone, this is Abdulrahman Jawadi, and today I'm going to be presenting my HST project about body cavities, body planes, quadrants and regions. Medical professionals started using body cavities, body planes, quadrants and regions to help identify the places of organs accurately, so mistakes would become less. Because terms such as south, east would be difficult to apply to the human body, other directional terms have been developed. These terms are used to describe the relationship of one part of the body to another part. The terms are used only when the body is in anatomic position. This means that the body is facing forward, standing erect, and holding the arms at the sides with the palms of the hands facing forward. Now we're going to talk about body planes. What are body planes? Body planes are imaginary lines drawn through the body at various levels to separate the body into three main sections. What is the use of body planes though? Body planes are used in human anatomy to describe the direction and location of body structures. We have three body planes: the transversal plane, mid-sagittal plane, and frontal plane. First, we're going to talk about the transversal plane. The transversal plane is a horizontal plane that divides the body into the top and bottom half. Body parts, directional terms related to the transversal plane are inferior, superior, cranial, and caudal. Body parts above other parts are termed superior, and body parts below other parts are termed inferior. Cranial means body parts located near the head, and caudal means body parts located near the sacral region of the spinal column. Next, we'll talk about the mid-sagittal plane. The mid-sagittal plane, also known as the median plane, divides the body into right and left sides. Body parts close to the midline or plane are called medial, and body parts away from the midline are called lateral. And those are the directional terms related to the mid-sagittal plane. Then we have the frontal plane. The frontal plane, which is also known as the coronal plane, divides the body into the front section and the back section. The directional terms related to the frontal plane are the ventral, or also called anterior, and the dorsal, or posterior. Body parts in the front of the plane are called the ventral, or anterior, and the body parts to the back of the plane are called dorsal, or posterior. Other directional terms are also proximal, and distal. Body parts close to the point of reference, which is usually the main trunk of the body, are called proximal, and body parts distant from the point of reference are called distal. Now we're going to talk about body cavities. Body cavities are spaces within the body that contain vital organs. There are two main body cavities: the dorsal or posterior cavity and the ventral or anterior cavity. First, we'll talk about the dorsal cavity. The dorsal cavity is one long continuous cavity located on the back of the body. It is divided into two sections: the cranial cavity, which contains the brain, and the spinal cord cavity, which contains the spinal cord. So it has to be protected, so this is very important for the body. Next, we have the ventral cavities. Ventral cavities are larger than the dorsal cavities. The ventral cavity is separated into two distinct cavities by the dome-shaped muscle called the diaphragm, which is in the respiratory system. The thoracic cavity is located in the chest and contains the esophagus, trachea, bronchi, lungs, heart, and some large blood vessels. The upper abdominal cavity contains the stomach, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, and spleen. And the lower abdominal cavity, or pelvic cavity, contains the urinary bladder, the reproductive organs, and the last part of the large intestines. There are some other cavities that are not in those. The orbital cavity, which is for the eyes, and the nasal cavity is for the nose, and the buccal cavity, or the mouth, is for the teeth and tongue. That's all about body cavities. Now we want to talk about quadrants. The abdominal cavity is so large that it has to be divided into sections. One method of dividing is division into quarters, or four sections: the right upper quadrant, the left upper quadrant, the right lower quadrant, and the left lower quadrant. We have to keep in consideration That when we call right and left, it is to the right and left of the patient and not us. Next, we're going to talk about regions. A more precise method of dividing the abdominal cavity is into 9 abdominal regions. The center regions are the epigastric, which is the one above the stomach, the umbilical region, which is the one near the belly button, and the hypogastric, which is the one below the stomach. On either side of the center, the regions are the hypochondriac, which is the one near the below the ribs, and then the lumbar, which is the one near the large bones of the spinal cord, and the iliac, which is the one near the groin. And then we just name them by right or left side before it, and we still have to take into consideration that it's to the right and left of the patient and not us when we name it. Finally, those are the resources that I used during my research. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new. Thank you.